Good morning. We're at the Windsor Star News Cafe. I'm Don MacArthur with Dylan Christie and Chris Vander Doelen.
Good morning.
Good morning. We went through wards 1 through 5, and now we're going to go through wards 6 through 10. Windstar Vander, he put them in the paper today. He made his picks. So Ward 6, who are you endorsing?
Well, I think it's a no-brainer. Joanne Gignac has been possibly the best counselor in the last 10 years. She's terrific. Her people love her ward, and in fact, a lot of people were encouraging her to run for mayor. I believe, including Eddie Francis, was encouraging her to run for mayor, but she doesn't have the stomach for the kind of down and dirty immersion in politics that takes. So I'm really glad that she's coming back to council, and I'm pretty sure she'll be elected in a landslide. So.
Excellent.
Sure. Okay. Ward 7, again, you took a different tack than Ann Jarvis here. You were going for Angelo Marignani, runs Milk, downtown Windsor.
Yeah, I've talked to Angelo a few times over the last few years. He's a smart guy. He's maybe a little farther left than people would suggest I'd support. But I just think that he knows the city well, and he's better than the other candidates. He's a sharp guy, and at least as a small business owner, he knows what it's like to pay taxes and meet a payroll, and I think that's crucial for politicians.
All right. Well, another ward where maybe there just weren't the choices there is Ward 8. You said that Bill Mara, that's your choice, but he's a government guy through and through. But
yeah, well, it's kind of the ward has already chosen him because they haven't put up any opposition to him. But he's a very powerful councillor, but sort of powerful going against the grain of the rest of council. I think he's going to be in some conflict of interest situations if he's going to be reelected. There's no doubt about that, because he's vice president of the local hospital corporation now, and they're trying to build a new super hospital, and they're going to be coming cap in hand to council asking for funding. Like, is he going to be voting on that? He shouldn't be speaking or voting on it if he's going to be councillor and vice president of the hospital. But you don't really have any other choice in that ward. So.
And we talked in the other segment about being beholden, to interest groups, this and that. You sort of said, that's a little bit of a warning flag for Bill, that he's always siding with, I guess, the unions.
Well, he's not really a closeted liberal. He's part of the local liberal organization, and he's always strongly supported CUPE and Unifor and the unions, and when the health unit wants more money, he's all for it. He always seems to come down on the side that's more expensive for taxpayers. So he doesn't seem to. He's quite happy to take credit for the zero tax increases, but he doesn't seem to vote to make it happen along the way. So.
Well, and the one neat thing, and who knows, maybe there's just a scheduling conflict, but a bunch of councillors went out to Drew Dilkin's press conference the other day to sort of fly the flag.
Half a dozen, yeah.
Bill Mara wasn't there, and I said,
no.
And they're really tight. And then I said, but a bunch of liberals are back in Milson, so maybe Mara just.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Sort of abstain from that one and just.
Oh yeah, Mara will be on Milson's side for sure, and people may remember he made an announcement about not running for mayor, and he was quite bitter about it, and he launched quite a nasty attack on Mayor Eddie Francis and the rest of council. So that was a very strange performance. He's a very effective councillor because he's smart. He's been there so long, and he spends a lot of time on it. But I just wonder what his end game is. What's he doing this for if it's not for taxpayers?
Okay. Well, in Ward 9, Hillary Payne, you said that initially you weren't really a fan of him, but through his hard work and experience.
Well, he was suing the city for millions of dollars.
Yeah.
I mean, vote for me, I'll screw you out of millions. So I didn't quite understand that. I was horrified when he was elected last time, but fortunately he lost that lawsuit he was running against the city with the Ambassador Bridge over. He's a major landowner in the West End. He owns dozens of homes. And he lost that. He still apparently got one lawsuit going against the city and taxpayers. He was charged for being there was a fire in a home that he owned and he was landlord in. But he's been a terrific councillor. I mean, the guy was the chief administrator for the city for a couple of decades. He started in 1969. After he retired from Windsor, he went to Amherstburg when things were running well. This guy knows where all the bodies are buried. He knows all the policies. He knows where every sewer is. And he's smart. He's funny as hell when he gets mad at something. I think he's a terrific addition to council. He's great to have there. At 82, we're lucky to have a guy that old, with that much knowledge, with that much energy to still make it to every meeting. You know, he's knocked on almost every door in the ward himself.
Wow.
I said, you know, you're 82. He says, it's good exercise. I need it. So I like the guy.
Well, and he did come again for a guy with that much experience or age, 82. It just said he came to our candidate all call on Saturday afternoon with everybody else who was on Twitter, and he gave his little 5-minute spiel to the voters. So you know, he still is plugged in.
And nothing prepared either. He just we gave him some rough questions, and he just went off the cuff.
Just free rolled.
Yeah.
And again, like what I've got back to for a lot of my picks is that he seems to vote on the side of taxpayers. What would an average taxpayer say? Well, I don't want to pay for that. And then you'll hear Hillary Payne saying, well, we shouldn't be paying for this. So that's why I like Hillary.
Perfect. Now, Ward 10, the one we've all been waiting for. You actually did side with Ann on this one.
That's right. I'm sure Ann was shocked too. But you know, this guy, I've been warned that this guy would be a dud if he's elected. But he's a bank manager. He knows money. He knows a few things about the world that I think other candidates in that ward do not know. And this may be a flyer too, because the guy hasn't put enough effort into his campaign. But I think it would be good to have a banker on council, and I think he's better than a lot of the other options there in that ward.
Well, we had Jim Morrison, yeah, exactly, like on here earlier today, and you know, for a banker, I was sort of expecting, you know, button down and prim and proper. Man, he was cracking wise, making jokes. He loves the name Jim Morrison. He sings Doors songs.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he embraces it.
Good for him.
And he's a Leafs fan. And
Well, he's with the National Bank, you know, which is not exactly a traditional stuffy bank.
okay. Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah,
excellent.
both for Jim Morrison, and of course, you know, you don't beat up on him too bad, but Magny he's blowing the public trust and enough.
To me, that's like the bottom line. You don't take money from the people you're representing. You know, nobody's forgiving Mike Duffy. Why do we forgive this guy? But it seems as though the entire Liberal Party are pulling out all the stops to save this guy's carcass. I don't see any reason we need to. You know, as far as I'm concerned, his next job should be driving cab in Fort McMurray. So.
Okay. There you have it. He doesn't mince words. Windstar Vander, follow him on Twitter, wards 6 through 10. Thanks for joining us here on Trail Talk.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.